and Complexity, a place that I bet Gambit at least never thought they would even have to worry about getting to. And for any NA fans all around the world, they're up in arms tonight, as we cannot believe the level that we've had out of this new look Complexity squad. It's a knife for sides. Maui, do you think this is gonna matter? Because, you know, we often say knife rounds don't really matter. Do you think there's anything, as the underdog, no. You know, you were too concerned?
I think that the last time and probably the only time I'll care about knife rounds is kind of like Academy League.
Yeah, okay.
Games.
No, that's fair enough. I don't think anyone's going to get tilted off the earth based on a weak start. I don't think it matters too heavily.
Okay, that was a 1v2 though. Interesting enough. But yeah, no, I don't think it really matters either way who wins this one. I don't think that Gambit truly expected this. I think that the veto for them could have been a little bit different. I thought they maybe would have wanted it to end on Inferno, but instead they banned that one out. They went to DUST2, a map that they have a worse win rate on. And so this is it's a little bit of a shocker that they decided they want to, in a sense, anti-strat, or like play not to their strengths, but play to their opponent's weaknesses. They probably think that Complexity just won't be as well versed on this map. Only time will tell if that is the case.
Yeah, so look, we have this little CT side start. Mate, for me, all the memories of Junior looking really hot on this map prior to the Furia move come to mind. You know, I got to cover a lot of NA Pro League. I got to cast a lot of Junior on his come up, and a big part of that was some of the numbers, some of the performances he was able to give us with the AWP here. So I really hope that he can keep finding his footing. And yeah, mate, no, it's very exciting. We have a little long pop coming in. And we do have Axile waiting in the wings to respond to it. He's just lost his teammate. Here's Shiro leaving him alone at the long doors. An Xbox smoke thrown up and over by JT, who's kind of selling like a fake short component to this A play, right? It's pulled the attention of Shiro back. The whole reason he's on the A site right now is because of that Xbox smoke. Axile, well, he will uncover the true nature of the round with that peek. Now they might discount this man up on short. Oh my God, okay, well.
Wow, okay. Clinical stuff, perfect reaction from Gambit right there. They knew that they were getting crunched, or at least they believed that they might have been, so they decided to deal with that long fight first, and then they just hit every single headshot. I mean, there's nothing even more that can be said about it, other than they moved over to the opposing team, and they killed them all. So, great start from Gambit. Kind of restores a little bit of the feeling of normality that this should be not as competitive as it has been. This series has delivered on all fronts in terms of tactics, in terms of individual ability. Complexity are competing. We've got a fast play out long right now. JT, though, gets caught. Hobbit stops him right in his tracks. And yeah, this is a easy cleanup thus far.
Yeah, whole W gaming doesn't work as well as JT would have liked in that round there. Right, you keep sending him in first to try and get this info, but no one was really in a position to help out, not with the long smoke thrown in and them having to cross through it. If anything, I think the kind of added pressure to try and trade JT actually flung Fang and Grim to their deaths. And so now for Junior, damage dealing mission, and the amount of damage he can deal is nil. It's 2-0 for Gambit. They keep that round flawless. Very, very clean to open up this game. And now just a full eco for Complexity.
Yeah, speaking about the narrative you were talking or touching upon earlier, the Junior DUST2 performances, something that most have not been familiar with for a while. You know, it's been since Triumph since we've seen him reach those heights. And I'd say that's kind of been the case of a couple of these players for Complexity. A couple of them, it's great that they're getting a Tier 1 organization backing them, but two of them had opportunities. I would say maybe three of them have had opportunities on Tier 1 orgs, and I would say that's Floppy on the Colossus C9, Grim on Liquid, and Junior on Furia. And it's tough to say that any of them lived up to that expectation. Floppy actually had very good stats on C9, but they didn't really have a lot of wins to go with it. And this is going to be a fresh look for these guys, because I think right now a lot of them are playing in a comfort zone where this is more friendly for them. It's a better environment where there aren't too many veterans looking down on them, or there's everybody here is trying to uplift each other.
Yeah, you know, they've always been the piece of the puzzle that's like kind of come in late or like come into like a mega established roster, right? So yeah, you know, maybe you feel like there's maybe like almost like a power disbalance there. On the top of that, you know, they've always been very accommodating of others, whereas now there's finally that ability to have discussion, to be like, no, look, I want to be put in these positions, and yeah, no, that's actually a very good point. One of the reasons to get excited about this Cole squad, right? A bunch of like miscreants almost banding together to try and make something greater than the sum of their parts.
Yeah, the island of lost toys has found its home here on Complexity. But these toys pack some punch. Molly forces Shiro off the angle, but there's a B play happening simultaneously. Inter's playing a very safe game, but Grim, he wants to beat that. Oh, spamming through the smoke doesn't do him any favors, and now Inters is able to clean up. Junior finally wins a bit of a smoke spam, but he doesn't know if anyone's right around that corner.
Yeah, he might just have to go for it. Like, doesn't have a terrible amount of options here, does he, old mate Junior? Creeping out. Gambit not over-facing, not giving him too many options. They were hoping that flank from Nafany could silence him. It has tagged him down to 19 points of health, so oh, that flash is brutal. Just as he peeks up to have a look in, the flash wrecks him, and Hobbit's there to close. Hobbit is a very safe pair of hands. I do like how this guy plays, right? He's never one to go guns blazing and some crazy, you know, overzealous peak. He'll do what's necessary to win you around, and you know, whether that's clutching, whether that's just hanging outside the B window and solidifying the kill, he's good in those moments.
It rarely does seem that Hobbit will extend unless his number is called. If there's a structure around it, or if he just needs to bail his team out in a situation, you'll see him extend in those kinds of situations, but rarely ever if it is unnecessary. In fact, that's already why he's been a top 20 player several years ago, if I'm not mistaken, 2017, and he built his way all the way back to being even higher in the placements this time around. A little bit of a whiff from Shiro right there, but Grim actually hits some shots. Junior does as well. This became scary all of a sudden for Gambit. Players are on both sides of Grim, left and right, and those mid to B smokes might give him an opportunity. This is a huge fight, quickly traded out by Axile, and Hobbit, once again, stuffs Junior in what was looking to be a potential fake.
Yeah, now it's all eyes on Floppy. Oh, that's a dink! 99, man, from the headshot with the Deagle. The range, it comes back to haunt him. Yeah, I think the Deagle should just one-shot no matter the range.
No
I'm not going to lie.
Surely.
I'm not going to lie. Like, 99 in one, that's kind of devastating there.
Yeah, that's. I doubt he even thinks he did that. I doubt he even thinks he hit the headshot, because how often does that happen that it does 99? It's such a rare case such as that one. Either way, Gambit have been flawless thus far, 5-0. It's been Complexity that's usually been getting the hot starts in these ones. Now the tables have turned.
Yeah, they've crossed Fang out through the long doors with the assistance of this this corner smoke. Gambit know about him now. They throw that molly in, and that's a double kind of positive for Gambit in that it burns him, and also it forces him to expel his smoke. You would have loved to have had that later on for a cross, and it gave you the info he was there. There's a standoff in mid, but the real interesting player right now is Axile, who they didn't spot cross into pit, and because they've had this semblance of long control the whole time, I don't think they think he's done this, and so Axile might just have the entire round in the palm of his hand.
It does look like that is likely. Shiro, though, will get first contact, and Hobbit actually is the one that comes up with the goods. 3 for him. Axile didn't even have to turn his head or move his mouse at all. That is a surprising result of events. And Gambit put themselves on a 6. I don't even know.
Hobbit hasn't died yet.
Yeah, I don't think anybody expected that to happen. I think that even Hobbit probably thought, okay, I'm going to bait for you. I'm going to just try to get as many as I can. Shiro in the same vein, and then Axile is going to activate. Never had to happen. The second part of that plan is still a mystery to the Complexity side.
Yeah, they still didn't ever know that Axile was even there. Oh, that's wild, man. Yeah, that was just like one burst out of Hobbit, and everyone's gone.
Just evaporated from the server.
little attempt at a lower push, right? They got that Xbox smoke. That's going to help you out in terms of not allowing someone from Cat getting aggro to peek yet, and now they actually go through it. A lot of faith that Cat was clear. Flashing themselves in now. You do have to contend with Shiro at car. That's a pretty devastating position to try and get past, but that's what the smokes are for. At least that's what you tell yourself. Here they are going in. That nade could be meaty, and it is for JT, who's once again looking to be that man on the entry. Shiro spots them crossing. First AWP shot connects. They do deal with the man at Goose. Oh, Shiro, this is lovely. He's found a little double, making a third. These are headshot angles with the AWP. Lovely deke shot out of Junior, but it's not the AWP. And so Shiro locks it in with 4. Those were very hard shots to hit. And he makes it look uncomfortably easy.
That was incredibly precise from Shiro right there. Those I would consider in that 9 out of 10 difficulty. They're moving fast, they got pistols, and he's wall-banging them in the face. There's not a lot to work with if you're Shiro. So to see him in that kind of form, it's terrifying if you are Complexity. That wasn't even a bad exec either on top of it. There were flashes coming in. He was half blind for some of this, and yet he was still able to find so much impact from that position.
Orbs back out. You need to put a stop to really just one of these problem areas. If you could try and decipher one, like with Hobbit and Shiro both looking so good, I would love this AWP to start to step up to try and fill the void. Fang once again spammed out on the long cross. JT donning the secondary AWP here. 200 ping second AWP, Maui. Where do you land on that?
It seems a little desperate. It's definitely not something that you would have game planned around before. So unless there was an idea behind the pick that JT was going for, I'm a little bit unsure about it. We'll see if he's able to make it work, though. It does look like him and Junior are both just kind of looking for picks, feeling things out right now. JT is posted his op into tunnels, but he's taken out by Shiro, who is playing that back plat. So it seems like any idea that Complexity has, Gambit has had an answer. Now Hobbit right in front of the smoke, but there's a perfect flash from Grim. That sets up Floppy. So finally, it feels like there's a little bit of a foothold for Complexity in a gun round. They're going to be able to plant that bomb on that A site, but Axile still holds control towards long, and he's not willing to give up his life just yet. A very experienced maneuver from him.
Yeah, I love that he even waits, right, for this AWP to join him. Shiro, it's like shooting fish in a barrel for this guy, man. You know, you got another player trapped in at the site. Flash goes over. Grim, blinded by it, but only lightly. Floppy dead, and Shiro there to light them up with 3 once again. And, you know, in the AWP battle, it's been no contest. JT, you know, the one guy you probably didn't want to run into was Shiro. If it was a surefire bet, you were going to be slower than anyone. It's that guy with how he's looking. And so this continues to be flawless. Yeah, part of me kind of wonders, have you woke the beast here by taking a map off of Gambit? You know, maybe they were willing to give you a little more room here and there, but now it's looking like the game faces are on, at least for Axile, Shiro, and Hobbit.
Does feel like this is an awoken Gambit. They're clearly in a state right now where they don't want to give up anything else in this. They probably themselves, Gambit, feel almost embarrassed that they lost Vertigo. They feel like that's never supposed to happen. They wanted to be the spoilers to the coming out party of Complexity. They knew that. They put that out there because this was a matchup where on paper there's just simply no reason that Gambit should even have sweat in it at all. And now, you know, Nafany, he has to take his jacket off, that one that he hangs on his shoulders most of the time in every LAN he goes to. He's always got the jacket there. And he finally had to put it down for a moment. He says, it's game time now.
Shiro doesn't even need vision to beat you right about now, and that's kind of terrifying. Finally, Junior's going to win out that AWP head-to-head. It still comes at the cost of a 1-for-1, and Nafany's even taken some liberties with aggression of his own. Can't say I blame the guy. He's kind of been relegated towards not getting a play into any of these rounds. He decides enough is enough, and he wants to fight now. Still in the sight as well, playing up close is Axar with a chance.
Oh.
Oh, that's a quick flick, but they're not ready for Axar tucked in at the site. Floppy will overwhelm him. That bomb dropped in the open, bit of a problem. Inters pushing in to now, my God, okay, well, I was gonna say, much like Nafanino, he's just been sitting pretty this time over towards B, never really given too much of a chance to play. And his kind of cold streak set to continue as he's domed by Floppy. Finally, the silence is broken by Complexity. But is it just a flash in the pan? Or can they try and make something of this T side still?
Uncharacteristic, but Shiro going for the double swing at long early in that round. Cost him. Oh, this might cost him. Junior, he's holding the line right now. JT's going down mid very quickly. He's going to find Shiro completely blinded, but he doesn't commit to the fight. Just goes for a little bit of spam right there. And that's a dangerous game to play against an op. I'll tell you that. So, Shiro could go for the ball bang, but misses the mark. Don't know if JT knows just how lucky he is right there. That is a flick shot that Shiro is completely capable of hitting, but it looks like they want to go for a contact play. Inters has been playing a jiggle game here, and that might be an in for Cole.
Yeah, Nafany dead right away. Inters gonna have to hold this site down all alone. Trapped at the car, Floppy will run him down, and both these B openers coming off the back of Floppy's entries on the AK. That's going to force an immediate save out of Gambit, right? We always say retaking B, kind of horrible, even in even odd scenarios. Much like a big Inferno, if those two B picks come in right away, you are going to be saving.
There's not too much for Gambit to do at this point. They still have a lot of money to work with, so just one of those saves that in the long run is going to pay dividends. But yeah, Floppy, he's been on it for the last couple rounds. Some key kills from him, both on the entries at B there and when he was scaling up towards that A bomb site. Good to see him come alive. He had a bit of a quieter vertigo, but on Ancient he was lighting the server up. And I think Gambit are experiencing some flashbacks in that regard because he has come alive. But who's going to be the one to help him out? Fang and JT still in a very tough position, both 0-9 at the moment. Does seem like Junior has come to play, but if Gambit just play a tighter game, a little bit cleaner, trades that we're used to, it's going to be tough to break this. Oh, that was close.
And the gauntlet through mid again, only this time with the intent to peek behind it. Grim straight through the mid doors is maybe deeper than you're ready for. Molly helping to slow down the mid aggression. Hobbit trying to find an angle over the top of this smoke. Elects to just drop down behind it. Now Grim should have heard the drop there. Should be cognizant that someone might be trying something weird around this smoke. It's a case where for Hobbit, you hope he doesn't overestimate the effectiveness of that little smoke in the door, right? With Grim already in this pocket, this is territory you might assume Complexity are too scared to take, but he's been here patiently waiting since the start of the round. Just trading smokes in mid right now.
Still a lot of utility on the side of Complexity. They've burned a lot from Gambit as well. In terms of the war of attrition, they're ahead right now. And in terms of position, Hobbit has backed off. That might be a huge in for Complexity right now. A lot of spam being sent their way, and Inter's peeking from the window. Excellent timing from him. It's up to him and Nafany now to lock this whole position down. As they are being crunched from multiple angles, the flashes are coming in. Nafany takes down the lone mid to B player. Now Floppy once again with the double entry, opening things up. This is an opportunity.
Yeah, you're in with a chance, right? Might not be the biggest of chances, might not be the best of chances, but Floppy's made something of this round, and now him and Junior, it's at top of the board for Complexity. It's the two big boys to try and overthrow. Floppy waiting under the window. That Molly trying to force him out of position. You can't hide there. Hobbit's heard the tick. Oh, Floppy brought down real low, and still he finds four on for the ace, mate. Floppy even gave them the handicap of standing in the Molly down to sub 10 HP, and yet still he's delivered a third to Complexity. He's going to go hunting for the ace. Shiro on the angle will nail the shot. Not enough time to go for the round.
That's it.
Floppy's locked it in. And what a show of heroics from this guy, man. Back on Ancient, he felt like he could have been the defining player. Would just fall short there.
That is an insane delivery from Floppy. I can't believe it. The fact that he got 2 right there after being burned by the molly on multiple different ticks, he thought for a moment there that molly wasn't going to spread in the corner, but he didn't want to risk it, and he puts himself wide in the open, dodges the flash, spins back around. That is huge from him. He's the only player that is positive right now for the side of Complexity, but the impact that he's had on those kills, incredible.
It's mind-blowing, isn't it, mate? Like, he's come in here like the NA Nico or something, like single-handedly trying to win rounds. You're not meant to get away with that. Not even versus, you know, like if we're looking at where these guys have kind of come from on this journey, you shouldn't even be getting away with that versus like tier 2 NA opposition, let alone Gambit, for crying out loud. I can't believe the game that Floppy has given us. It doesn't matter what situation you drop this guy in, he finds a way to make the best out of it.
Stone cold. Stone cold Floppy. Oh, that's a big nade, though. That might slow him down for once. There's some long presence from Axile right now, but Floppy again takes him down. Although Shiro was able to find JT, that is a top 5 player in the world for a 200 ping in-game leader. I think Complexity are comfortable with that trade. And now Junior, he's posted up with the AWP, was able to find that kill onto the A-bomb site. And that's the upper down. Shiro, he's fallen. And now it's up to Complexity to try to see how can they navigate this sort of setup from Gambit. They know that this player is Car.
If you know where someone is, you know, just like in real life, you sick the attack dogs on them, and normally that would be Floppy. This time, it's Grim holding the angle. He also breaks his silence, mate. Grim having a bit of a rough start to this one. Delivers that kill there and helps open up the A-bomb site. Nafany in here with the AWP, takes a swing, but Floppy ruins his day, and Grim's there to close. 4 on the board for Complexity. Remember, this started 8-0. Now Colt finding the last 4 in a row, building up confidence. It's a weird one to look at. It's kind of like this 2 or I guess 3-man show right now, but Grim's only recently started to find impact. It's so odd seeing rounds still go the way of Complexity with 2 players yet to frag.
It's unbelievable, and you just have to wonder if
it's a 3v5. And
if they started to, what's going to happen then? Junior forced off of the angle. Gambit, this is going to be their last buy for a while if they can't put anything together. Complexity have pushed Gambit into a very rough position. The liberties that Gambit have been taking in prior rounds, you might not see them in this one because they don't have the money to fall back on if somebody makes a mistake. This is when the pressure begins to mount, even for the best teams in the world.
Yeah, flash up Cat. Last time we saw this little short play come in, it did get demolished. It was only pistols, though. Now this is a Complexity that are on a bit of a hot streak. They've got guns behind them. Fang, that's audacious to say the least. Oh, but he still finds a kill from it. This guy literally was 0-10 until this round. Now he's got the opener, just Shiro left to get past, and we know he's good on these finicky angles. Oh, but a couple of missed shots. Uncharacteristic of Shiro. He's managed to get away, managed to stay alive for now. Calling for help from anybody in a flash to try and set him up. He's back in with another peek. You can see the pressure getting to him. Grim and Floppy are freestyling this one, but it's the long wrap from Hobbit that they weren't ready for. Floppy is now in the clutch. This guy has made rounds happen single-handedly, but he's always had the benefit of having someone alongside him if things go wrong. Now, he's truly alone. No idea where Hobbit's gotten to. They've never seen Inters either. It's a safe plant, and both players for Gambit have grouped in CT. Floppy creeping out into the open. He is the last guy you want to give a chance to right now. Playing it from Goose. They're going to be able to swing this. They're going to be able to play it together. Floppy, there's the first. Oh, can't quite make it a third. And so Hobbit does get that round over the line. Gambit, they come back in with a 9th. They stop that streak, and they manage to launch a successful retake and deny one of these annoying clutch attempts from Floppy.
And so close once again from Floppy. But the money from Gambit is still in a very dire position. They won't have as much utility or the weaponry. One or the other has to give just a bit here. 9-4 scoreline, though. 4 in a row for Complexity. Finally stopped in their tracks. And man, you just have to wonder, how close was that second shot from Floppy? The crosshair looked right on him, but doesn't quite hit it. Gambit, they survived the flop. Rare occurrence, but now Shiro takes down the hero from Complexity. Floppy dropped very early in this round, so there's going to have to be another hero, another player that has to stand up. Who will answer the call?
I mean, a part of me hopes it's Fang, like, having a bad time as far as they go, right? 1 in 11. He's been in positions to succeed every now and again, but he's just having a bit of a rough one. The fact that we're getting, you know, something out of Grim, Junior's looking pretty quick. If we could just get Fang online, suddenly, Complexity, you know, it's no longer a three-legged horse in a race versus the champion. Shiro still holding this mid-angle, but he has missed timings on crossing players, and the last thing he saw was a man get up cat. That hasn't deterred him from leaning towards B. This is where oh man, wow. There's no accounting for that. Unfortunate for Grim as he spammed out. Wonderful for Inters, and it's only going to get better. As you try to go into B, you quickly realize the extent to which Gambit have bodies here. JT says, let me go in first. Let me soak up the shots. Junior will oblige him in that. There's the swing. JT dead. Junior chance at the trade, but Nafany will lock him out of the round, and that's 10-4 now. Gambit starting to build back in towards the end of this CT half.
It does feel like Gambit have now survived a handful of bullets. They are in a position to close this one out, 11-4 on the decider map in this series. They weathered the storm once again. When they needed to win those rounds, they came up with the goods. Now Floppy, he's going for an early pick middle, and he's dropped by Nafany. It's a big kill to find, but oh, Grim, right through the edge of that smoke's able to get one. Axile there for the trade, 3-on-3. This is a pretty messy round. It's all over the place. Hobbit, he's looking for something middle. And he's able to spot out Junior, but is the swing there? Fang, he's contesting the angle. Hobbit, he does a lot of damage, but he's able to escape.
Yeah, now just fall back, right? Now just play around Inters in tunnel. Complexity don't know that he occupies this position, and so as they go into the site, they're tunnel visioned in on the close man, Junior. There's one. Oh, he saw the head. He saw the helmet. Someone must have said something. Smoke in the door, gives him a chance to get the bomb at least. However, Axel doesn't look like he wants to wait around and give respect. He's going to peek right away from the window and puts 11 on the board for Gambit. You know, we are getting a wonderful game out of a trifecta of this Gambit squad, right? Look at that leaderboard. 20 on Shiro, 17 for Hobbit, 14 for Axel. And then whenever they have gone B, it feels like Inters has been able to hold the line there. Just never really had a chance to be involved in the early stages of this game, back when the rest of the guys were farming up kills and building up confidence. CT half maybe gets a bit strugglesome now for Complexity. With only 3 players really showing up in a meaningful way, we need a bit of a recovery, because, you know, CT side, you can't afford to have your weak links exploited here.
There definitely needs to be a little bit more output across the board for the Complexity side. They'll go for a contest towards long early on. No one really getting the better of this situation just yet. But Gambit are showing their hand, and Floppy, he's here, unable to connect as well. A lot of body shots connecting, but not a lot of headshots, but there we go. That kicks things off. Floppy and Nafany take a kill apiece. Now, Junior is up here on site with Fang, but he's taken down Nafany. He's having a run in this round. He's looking for more.
Ooh,
oh, takes the burst. Yeah.
All right, Nafany, you madman, runs at him, gives them a taste of their own medicine. Yeah, I can aim as well, boys. Now up on the short side, Grim doesn't know it. His time is limited. There's Inters picking him up on the wrap through middle. Just JT, they know where he is. They've got him boxed in, and there should be no way back into this round. They're flashing him, they're running at him. And Gambit put up 12, keeping 4 alive. Dire straits for Complexity, staring either force buy, and then they buy late into the half. At this scoreline, that feels kind of terrifying, but that is what they're going to elect to do. I do like it because I think you want the AWP in Junior's hands, and obviously you're not going to have that if you ecoed for the 3rd round buy. I think if one thing's been apparent, it's that this guy can still put out with that AWP mid-fight, and Shiro doesn't want to hang around for it. Floppy dead, and I'm really, I don't want to say it, but the way that these rounds have kind of gone, I'm looking at it and I go, did Floppy die first? Yes, then probably a loss. Let's see if Junior can convince me otherwise.
It's unfortunate when you can boil the round down to that, but that does seem to be the case at present. Now Nafany, he just wants to charge Junior down. He's coming and hunting for him. Takes his life. And Gambit look to put themselves on a 13th. And yeah, does feel like Floppy has put himself in a couple of positions where he just wants to open things up on his lonesome. We've seen how that has just kind of come back to bite players and teams in the past, where if you are a little too overzealous, it can lead to you being punished. And so, Gambit, I mean, there's many win conditions for them in this game, but taking down Floppy is a huge one round by round. It's just in the micro right now today. Full save, though.
Yeah, man, it's quickly getting a little rough, isn't it? I mean, there's no denying it. Still, I don't think, you know, regardless of outcome, I don't think Complexity can walk away from this feeling devastated. That's assuming they lose it, but it's certainly dire straits as they're approaching on their last buy round, coming up in the next. If it doesn't go their way, Gambit would run away with this. Floppy even getting one with the USP. Oh, Grim with an eagle. Hang on a moment. This is giving Gambit a moment of pause. They've had to go elsewhere. They don't want to fight along. Grim has up and abandoned the B site, and if they go mid to B now, that's kind of devastating. You're going to be kicking yourselves. The bomb is going through tunnels alone on the back of Hobbit. But Grim is left CT.
Oh, the timing. JT. Oh, only finds one. One shot, that is. Now Grim, oh, the jig is up. Gambit, they have an open path into the B site, but they're still wary, actually. They're giving a little bit of time for the rotations from Complexity right now, but they will soon figure things out. Yep, that's it. They're in the site right now, procedurally clearing everything out. And Shiro, nice shot onto Grim. That is a huge one to find, a huge scalp to take, because things get a lot easier with this man advantage.
Oh, Molly, that's going to start to burn out the planter. However, they run down the man in middle, and there's the swing from window. Gambit, they will get that one back under wraps. It ends up being a lot closer than it should have been when you look at what was brought into the round. But at this point, you need victories. You need rounds on the board if you're Complexity. And as we mentioned, this could be really their only shot at achieving that. It's a double AWP investment. JT picking up the secondary again. With Shiro to go up against, you know, he's hard enough to beat on regular ping, let alone in JT's situation. A little long pop for Gambit. Out they come, a little deeper than Grim is ready for. That could end up coming back to haunt Complexity. Oh man, this is wild. Axile's playing around reloads. Spam damage goes out. Grim is past Axile, and oh, Junior's gonna pick it up. All right, that looked like it could have been their downfall, but instead, they're looking to come in with a pretty convincing first rifle round. It's still a game that's massively leaning against them, and it's not over yet. However, 5-14, something has got to go really right for Complexity. It's all got to snap into place.
You could see how hectic that was getting for everybody along right there. Multiple smokes, people spamming through them, people pushing through them at the same time. Gambit tried to just unleash chaos at that long take and didn't quite work out for them, but it was darn close. Just one turn ahead, one different timing, and could have been a completely different round at that. But Shiro and the rest of Gambit still have a lot of money to work with. He'll have another crack at things. He won't opt for the quick long once again. He'll slow their approach. Now Junior, he's holding for a lower B push, potential peek. There is potential action at long too. Grim, oh, is he slipping right behind this player? Is he gonna turn around? Oh man, Gambit are wondering what is happening. How could this have happened? Axile let Grim go right under his nose.
That's wild, man. And, you know, it's still so early days, but these little hero moments, these little hero plays are only going to work to activate some of these key components in the long run. You know, no one knows a comeback's happening till we're already at an even scoreline. And I think that is like the one big worry, is that no matter how many rounds you get, you cannot put it past any of these Gambit players to have a hero moment, to have a hero round. Right now, easing back into the 2-on-4. Axile just holding with the AWP at long, Inter's bottom middle, waiting to see if Complexity maybe overstep the mark. I don't think they're going to. They know how much they need every clean round they can get at this point. I can assure you, no one's going to be rushing to throw their life away. And so this might be a bit of a drawn-out save here for Gambit.
Yeah, this is just Gambit for looking for any additional damage, Complexity. They're not going to offer that up, though. Like you said, they know the importance of keeping all of these guns intact, these players' lives. And it does seem like Complexity will get a 6th. The AWP is saved by Axile, though, so that'll make its way into Shiro's hands. Lest there be a great spawn for another Gambit player. But this play right here, I mean, this is the one that probably had Gambit scratching their heads just a little bit. Axile not expecting a dry smoke walk. I don't even know how Grim came up with that. But I'm pleased that he made it.
Yeah, right. I mean, you know, these are the kind of confident plays that we talk about maybe we're missing from his time in that Liquid roster, right?
Oh, that
same
wouldn't have
degree of
happened on
comfortability. Liquid would have, you know, Grim Liquid would have been sat there, mate, waiting, and then been wrecked by, like, waiting for the smoke fade or something.
Would have just played a standard angle, would have jiggled it maybe at best, and then someone might have got mad at him if he messed up and died. We've heard the comms. We've all heard the comms. Yeah.
All right, look, Floppy pushing into the long doors. It's a lot of aggression out of Complexity. You wouldn't know that a bunch of these guys are like Fang and I think JT between them have 2 kills, I'm pretty sure. You wouldn't know by how the angles are getting taken by Cole. They're not afraid to fight. They're making that much clear. And Floppy will secure the opener over here in the long doors. It's nice, you know, we saw him switch to trying to take more openers on that T side, feeling the pressure to make plays, feeling the pressure to be that guy to step up. And it started to go against him towards the end of that first half. But now coming into the second, it feeling like success after success for Complexity.
Gambit, forced away from long. We're trying to find an avenue towards short. Oh, Hobbit just lost the bomb towards B tunnels. That's going to send
Everyone's going to go back and get it. Oh,
yeah,
God.
That's that. It looked like Gambit probably wanted to run some sort of short cat fake, maybe even the mid to B drop. But Floppy, he's pushed out long. He knows what's going on right now. He's trying to snipe them from behind with the A1S. Not able to connect just yet, but Gambit are in a very tough situation. 20 seconds left for them, and Floppy is just railing them from top mid. And Grim, man, his confidence is showing. He's just pushing on through the smoke. He knows what's happening too. Great control from Complexity in that round. The grip that they had on Gambit just tightened as the round progressed. They figured out what was happening. They understood that really killing the bomb is going to send everybody into a mad dash. So that was a well put together round from Complexity, kicked off by that nice little aggression from Flop.
I don't think you're at all getting worried yet if you're Gambit, but I have no, like, thinking about someone like Hobbit, admittedly got smoke spammed by an AWP, right? But we always, you know, even earlier on, we were saying, like, yeah, Hobbit's not someone who ever, like, oversteps the mark, gets caught making, like, kind of silly mistakes. Losing the bomb at B, even the fact he's, like, there alone is anxiety-inducing. There's, you know, then there's the smoke walk from Grim under Axile. There's a few plays that could get under your skin, and I almost feel like the nature of, you know, 2 players being so quiet for Cole is almost more tilt-inducing. Like, you're kind of looking at the scoreboard if you're Gambit, and you're going, like, how aren't we just winning? Like, you know, Floppy can't get 3 every round, guys. Grim can't hit a timing on smokes every round, and yet here these guys are putting up numbers in spite of it all. I'm not worried yet, but there certainly comes a point where you have to stop and consider, is there a comeback underway? That's nice for Shiro. At least he's kept up appearances here, but it is but 1 kill in an otherwise pretty rough round.
Yeah, Grim was a menace throughout this round on short. Yeah, and to go to your point, I mean, the comeback probably doesn't feel like it's happening just yet in the eyes of Gambit, but every single round, once they hit double digits, I mean, that's when the pressure begins to mount, because we've seen kind of how this can be a tale of two halves in this series so far. The defenses for every team have been stronger than their T sides. Both maps, in fact, that's just been the case. So can expect that to be par for course. Feng lighting him up right there. That'll instill a little bit of confidence in Feng. He's had a quiet one so far on DUST2. But yeah, every single round, it's not even that the Gambit's going to feel the pressure, it's that Complexity will begin to believe.
Yeah, right, okay. And that's more dangerous in and of itself, right? I think as well, like for Fang there, they actually end up being high impact kills. And that was a round that could have spiraled even though it's only pistols. It's very easy to brush that up to like, oh, it's an eco, we should have been winning that. But, you know, they still got the pick to Junior in the site. They still were gaining ground on short. And, you know, you don't have to give Gambit a lot for them to find a way in. So him getting it back under wraps, hopefully, going to lead to a bit of a late game activation, a very late game activation. But at this point, you'll take what you can get if you're Complexity.
Does feel like some of the early aggression from Gambit has been tempered by Complexity meeting them. So, JT on the secondary op. He hasn't found too much just yet. And Gambit will evade him once again. Looking for the spam close, but not quite. Oh man, Complexity's in a bit of a B-lean right now, and this is a fast, explosive play from Cat.
Oh, and Fang is just domed immediately. That's a leg onto Axile. You've got this long flank coming in on essentially dead angles at this point in time, right? They've gotten into A already. A lot of teams would already be kind of leading into a save in this situation, but you really don't want to give 15 over if you're Complexity. It's your only wiggle room, and you've got money anyway. So I hope to see them group and go for this, especially with a player in Inter still playing for this B control by the looks. Ooh. I think Gambit are anticipating the save, and that's not the case. Collar moving in, and Shiro trying to lock it down. Will find 3. He smites them. Oh, mighty smiter. 15 on the board now for Gambit. Match and series point. Complexity, is this where it all falls apart?
Shiro is having a hell of a game right now. Every time his number has been called, he's been coming up, and once again, he's able to lock things down. If he falls in this position, if he misses one of those op shots, it's a completely different retake. If he's killed from that first Cat player in Junior, then Complexity probably just win outright. The round is over. The round might be over. They're getting pinched from too many directions, but nope. He hits every single one. Shiro has been a master of consistency in the last couple of years, and this round was no exception.
Oh, God, man. Even the way he's peeking mid there, throwing up on the boost. JT's also taken a very unique style of AWPing. He's essentially just going for every spam, every pre-fire. You know, trying to make the best out of a bad situation. Massive Shiro in mid. The AWP trying to bait them in. Into Fang. It's damage exchanged either which way. And the bomb actually falls up onto Catwalk. There's also a double bit of long aggression coming in. Junior scoped at the long doors, and Floppy there playing around him. They will eventually move Floppy back, and I like this, right? Trading Junior and Floppy off the angle, having Floppy in a point where he can look to rotate now and lean into CT means he's going to be in the right place at the right time, because this is a B play. You've got the 200 ping king and JT in position. Floppy wins the mid engagement, doesn't even see Nafany. And Grim's tucked in the corner, dead right away. JT, back of the site, armed with the AWP, needs to be clean, just leaves the angle there as they get into it, and the molly burns him out into the open. Shiro even going to remove Fang on the rotation. Things go from bad to worse. Floppy almost finds a timing there, but Inters flicks back up to the window, and this is looking like the beginning of the end. Just Junior left to find, and they even look like they want to swing him, mate. They're poised in the window to shut this one down, to give him as little room as possible. Even if he somehow gets a kill, the trade should be there immediately from window. They've heard a footstep now. They know what's up. Junior with the first, but there's the trade. And Gambit, they do steal this series away. 2-1. It's a damn good try from Complexity, but on DUST2, there's no denying the better team was able to emerge victorious there. It felt a little bit weird, complexity, a few